students, today we're doing lesson 10.3, finding the number. And in this lesson, it's the same as the last lesson in 10.2, where I told you that the book teaches you both ways of writing an equation or solving it through proportion, and that we were only going to do the equation part. So I'm going to do the same thing in this lesson. And this lesson is very similar to 10.2. If you understood 10.2 and did 10.2 good, then this one should not be a problem for you. Okay, so let's jump right in with the examples. So example 1, or in lesson 10.2, we found the percent. Today we're going to be finding the number. So in example 1, the problem says 75% of what number? 75% of what number is 93? So once again, we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to write an equation out of these words. So like in the last one, I said find the word is. Here's the word is. So I'm going to put an equal sign. 93 is after that equal sign. Where it says what number, that means that's what we're looking for. We don't know that. So that's going to be our variable. And in the last lesson, I used P because it was saying what percent. In this lesson, we're going to use N. Okay, and then of, just like in the last lesson, means times. 75%. We don't ever use the percent sign in an equation, so we need to change this to a decimal. In order to change percent to decimal, we move the decimal place point 2 places to the left. So my answer is, or my equation is 0.75 times n. That's not an x, that's a times. I'm putting it as an x because we have decimals in this, and a point would be kind of confusing. So, and I want you to see that of means times. So 0.75 times n equals 93. Remember that we rewrite that to not have that times sign. So we say 0.75 n equals 93. And now we solve this like you've learned how to solve this equation a long time ago. It's just a one-step equation. We divide by 0.75. Okay, and then you use your calculator, put in 93 divided by 0.75, and you should get 124. And that's my answer. So what that means is that 75%. Okay, so my audio cut off. I'm not sure where I stopped talking when it turned off. But anyway, 75% of 124 is 93. And that's what we were trying to find, is the 124. Okay, so we're going to move on to example 2. Change the color. Okay, so for example 2, we are going to do 7 is 19% of what number? So we're going to do this the same way we did the last one. And we're going to go through and write an equation first. So this is really trying to teach you to write that equation. So don't think, oh, I just have to divide or I just have to multiply. If you think that way when you're doing these problems, you will get to one where you're going, I don't know which one I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to multiply or am I supposed to divide? So instead, you always write an equation. So here's my is. That's going to be equal. The 7 is by itself, so that's an easy one. 19% needs to change to decimal. We've already done this, learning how to change them to decimals. So that should not be new. It's 0.19. Of means times. And then what number means I don't know that. It's going to be n. So now I'm going to rewrite this without the time sign. So I get 7 equals 0.19 n. Okay. And remember, you can switch this around if you need to. If it's easier for you to see the n on the left-hand side, then change it so the variable is on the left-hand side. But if you don't, if you're like, oh, I can do this, then you just look at the side with the variable, and that's the one that you're going to divide by. So this is going to be 0.19 divided by 0.19 on both sides. So these two cancel each other out. That just makes one n, right? And then you do 7 divided by 0.19 in your calculator. And you're going to get something like 36.84 and then some other numbers, right? We're going to stop here and we're going to round to the 10th place. So that means I just have to look at the 4. The 4 tells me that my 8 is going to stay the same. So 36.8 is my answer for example 2. And that's rounding it to the 10th place. It might not tell you where to round it to, and you can kind of choose on your own, or it might tell you round to the hundredths or round to the tenths. Just make sure that you read the directions if you get one where you need to round. Okay, one more example 3, and then you're going to do one on your own. So example 3 is, and on example 3 in your book, it says to write a proportion, but remember we're not doing that. So this says 35% of what number is 28? Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this as an equation. Okay, remember we start with the is, which means equal, 28. And then what number means that's going to be in. Of means times. And then 35% gets changed to 0.35. So I have 0.35 in equals 28. And then we're going to divide by the one that's next to n. So we divide by 0.35. And then when I put that into my calculator, 28 divided by 0.35, my answer is 80. Okay, and that's my answer. That's what the number is that I'm looking for. Okay, so let's do one on your own. So on your own is going to be, let's do 30% of what number is 90. Okay, so hit pause, solve this on your own. That means write an equation, solve the equation, and get the answer for it. So hit pause now and go ahead and do that. Okay, so you should be back. I'm going to go ahead and write this like I did all the other ones. This is equals 90. That's the easy part. What number means I have n. Of is times, and 30% would be 0.30. So my problem should have been, my equation should have been 0.30 n equals 90. This, you can also shorten this to just 0.3. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like this because it helps some kids see it because it was 30% to begin with. And you could put it either way into your calculator and you'll get the same answer. So I divide by 0.3, and when I divide 90 divided by 0.30, I get 300. And that's my answer. If you got that answer right, then you're good to go. Start on your assignment. If you didn't get it right, maybe go back through this video once again and go through it again with your pencil. Make sure you're taking good notes and listening. Or maybe you need to go through it without taking notes and just listen and watch it. Do it either way. Okay, that's it for today.